This is Cooper. Cooper just arrived for training, and Cooper is about 15 weeks old or so. As far as I know, he has no training at all, but let's just see. Sit. He can sit. No, of course not. He's on a little harness. He really doesn't seem like he can walk on a leash, that he's comfortable on a leash, really. Obviously, he has no commands at all. He doesn't have a come command, none of that. He doesn't have a, here buddy, he doesn't have a down. He has nothing. So this is just raw material. He's a rather shy, unconfident little guy, and we'll see what we can do with him. We'll make the video after we finish the training and show you how much we've done. Okay, I'm going to walk Cooper up to his mat, sit, have him sit, make sure that he's waiting on a loose leash like that, really waiting to be allowed to go over there. Go to your mat, down. So we do this exercise every day with him, and it's a great way to accelerate his stay, his down stay. And of course, if we're practicing a really solid down stay, that also helps his sit stay as well. And doing this exercise every day will, make sure that he really waits until you place it there on the mat. Good, and you place it on the mat and you withdraw. He's always had this little issue with just desperately wanting to get that treat, and see how he'll move to the side of the mat. And we're working on that, and I'll show you in a second how I'm dealing with it. It's still okay because he's still on the mat. One way to get him back into the center of the mat is just to come on the side there and sort of take your little treat and sort of lure him to be more in the center of the mat. But still make sure that he waits. Good. That's waiting for him. It's just a little puppy. I think he's 14 weeks old right now. Jumpy little puppy. You see how he's got his stay. We've got the stay happening. And of course, if he keeps going to one side like that, you can always just say, okay, reset him. Always make sure when you're walking him around that you always turn into him like that. Come on, pups. Turn into him again. Reset him on the mat, in the middle, down. So that's probably the easiest way for you to reset him if he starts going off the edge of that mat. But all of this is really, every little detail is really important to this exercise, because he needs to, when he goes on there, he needs to know, okay, I stay right there and I wait respectfully and calmly. No. See how I'm doing that? Nope. No. Nope. Good. Finally, he backed off and waited. So you need to do this every time because it'll really help with his level of focus. We want him to have a increasingly, better, good level of focus. See how he's starting to wait? It just took me a couple of minutes to get him into the groove there. And of course, we're practicing a downstay when we walk around him. He's not popping up as we walk around. So you practice on the mat like this so that he's good off the mat. One last time here. Good. He's waiting. Like, I can even drop the leash. You don't have to show where I go, but just show him. So he's waiting while I walk way across the yard here. Come back. And if you're in a fenced yard, an enclosed yard like this, or if you're in your house, you can do this because it's completely safe. See that, how he's waiting? Good. Of course, never drop the leash if you're out in public or you're not in a secure, safe area. And see how he always is moving that way, and now he's crooked. So with him, he's very sensitive and he's a little bit skittish. Okay, just do that and continue to put him back down and just reset him. And you'll see as time goes on, he'll be doing that less and less and less. And I always reward him to kind of mark the spot. This is where you get your reward. Good. And I was going to show you how to take him off the mat. So he's waiting for you to come next to him. Say, okay. Walk him off the mat, have him sit, and then you can release him to be free. Go. And now I'm just going to show you down how to practice off the mat. So once you've got a really solid down stay on the mat, and I do it in your house or in your backyard, of course. And now, since we've had such rainy weather in your house, and then you can start doing a little down stay without the mat after you finish the mat exercise. Just a little short one like this. Good, just to make sure that he's practicing without the mat, but I'll still do that. If he pops up, it's no. Just gently but firmly ease him back like that. Make sure he's really waiting until you actually come back next to him, pat your leg and say, okay, sit. And then to walk with him, I'm going to walk with him now. I'm not going to release him to be free. Okay, and he walks with you. I do these little walking exercises because you want to have him not pulling you out on the street at some point when he's older. You want to start practicing with the walking now, of course. So what I do is even in a yard like this, and you can easily do this in your house or in your yard, okay, walk with him. Make sure that if he's pulling ahead, that you're tapping and releasing like this. And I'll walk him maybe 6 or 8 feet, and I'll do a complete circle like this. And then at the end of that circle, sit where I started, and then I have a reward in my right hand. Good. And then I'll do it again. Okay, let's just pretend that I walked 6 or 8 feet since I don't have that much room here. Left circle. Sit at the end of that. Good. Eye contact. You're literally looking him in the eyes as you reward him like that. Good. Not like this or any of that. It's straight down. Good. And then one more time. Okay. Since we have limited dry space here since it's raining. So it's a left. So it's walk straight. Okay. Come on, bud. Let's go. Come on, pups. Walk straight. One more left turn. Sit. Good. One last reward. Good. Say good as you reward him. You can even throw in, step away on your last repetition of that. You can throw in a little sit stay. And a reward. Good. And then go. He's free. Sit. So when we're going to greet somebody, I walk him up to the person. I have him sit. If he pops up, you say no. He really likes Ronnie, so he wants to go over there, but he has to learn, no matter whether he knows the person or he doesn't, that he's going to wait respectfully. He sees me giving that treat to him. He knows, because we practice this a lot, that he's going to go over there and get the reward, but he's got to wait. This teaches the dog self-control, and if he really waits to be allowed to go over there, and then you're really helping develop a higher level of focus. Go say hi, he gets down there, he gets petted, he gets a treat. Come. You call him back to come to you. Good. So in this exercise, you've got a lot of stuff. You've got the sending him somewhere, him waiting to be sent somewhere. Sit. You see that little thing I stepped into him? It's a very important move because your body is literally hurting the dog when you go left, because he's going to be on your left, because that's the way we're training. That's the main side for the training. You go left and you turn left, and the dog's drawn back next to you, which means the leash is going to be loose, which you really want. Always a loose leash. And then he's waiting for me to pat his chest. Go say hi. More petting, treat. Come. You can practice your recall. Good. One more time. You can throw in this little circle. Sit. You saw that little circle in our leash walking exercise. And you see when you start handling him, he starts getting really comfortable. And then you can also throw in your sit stay before you send him over. All of this teaching him to wait just a little bit longer to get the reward. Also, you noticed everything good is down on ground level with him. The treat, the petting, that way it teaches him to not jump, because why would he need to jump? The hands are down there, you're touching him, he's getting a treat. So it really helps with the jumping, helps him not jump on people. Go say hi, last time, and the come command, come. Good, you want to grab that leash with your left hand. Your left hand's free because you got the loop around your wrist. So we've been doing this every day with different people. He's very comfortable with it. And of course, because the pattern has been practiced so many times, he just will do it on his own. You see how he's sitting waiting to go over again, even though I'm not going to do it again. But even though he will do that in a bunch of different circumstances as you continue to practice with him, never stop saying the command, because if you stop telling him to do things and think, oh, he knows it automatically, it's going to start to fall apart later on. So always say the command, even though he will do it automatically. Just keep saying the command. Come. Good. I always practice calling him away from something. And in that case, he was moving away from me, and we're just creating our own distraction here. And if you don't have a distraction to practice with, because you're going to be practicing, I think, to get the moves down, to learn how to handle him with the basic stuff and learn for him to get used to being handled by you, you're going to be practicing on your property, in your backyard, in your house, because unless you can handle him there with no distractions, or distractions that you control, like leaving the room, coming back, things like that, you're not going to be able to handle him in public until you can handle him well in private. So don't take him out and try to do training out there with distractions until you can handle him where there's no distractions. But so you might need to create your own distraction. The easiest way to do it is, you see you have the 6-foot leash, which you need, of course. 6 feet is a good length to have. Anything shorter is really kind of not enough for this kind of stuff. I've got a little reward in my palm, but I'm going to toss one as well. Come. Practice calling him away from things. Good. You see what I'm doing? I got the other treat in this closed target. The reason for that is that later on when you phase food out, there's no treats. Come. Always call him away from something. Good boy. You're going to love him up extra, but it will always work, because whenever you call him to come to you, he doesn't know it's empty. So later on in an emergency with no leash and no treat, it's going to work well. So you always back away. As you can see, when you back away, the dog is drawn to run to you. And if you practice hundreds of times like we already have, he won't even remember any other way. And even if you're standing still later after you practice for a couple of weeks, he's going to rush to you because of the way that you taught him. It's all about being a good teacher. We'll do this one more time. Another distraction. Go. Come. Call him back to me. And he'll come wherever this target is. As you can see, just think if it wasn't empty, it wouldn't matter. If it was empty, I meant. Good. That time I had a treat. But of course, he's just been doing this for a few weeks, for 3 weeks. This is training after 21 days. So it's all brand new, fresh behavior. You have to continue doing all these things. We're making this video so you don't forget how to do everything step by step by step. You see how I'm doing it? You're always, with anything, you're always managing the dog with a loose leash, and you're doing, so I didn't tell him to SIT, so he's on free time basically. You're always managing him with taps and releases. See how I do that? And body language. Tap and release, tap and release, tap and release. He comes to you, good boy. And if you're walking him or something, it's tap and release. See how that works? Tap and release, and using your body to step into him. Okay, even if you don't have him sit or anything, if you just walk, you're just walking around, you're doing this. Walk straight for a little bit, and then, come on, don't stop walking, but just do a circle. Okay, bud, let's go, and walk farther. Come on, buddy. Just so you're always practicing that kind of stuff with him. Never a tight leash, so you're not going to be doing this. Don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, because a tight leash will create overstimulation in the puppy, and he's not going to be focusing as well, and he's going to get to be out of control. If you're restraining him, okay, but instead, loose leash and tapping and releasing. See how it works so much better? Tap and release. Rather than doing this, if you do that, he'll never stop pulling. So really, you got to watch yourself and practice that and keep the leash loose. Communicate with real signals with the leash, not corrections, but just it's a means of communication and lack of tension. You always have your come, your recall to get him back to you. Good boy. Instead of, if he's getting into something, grabbing your shoes, taking something off the table that you haven't picked up, whatever, instead of chasing him, it'll become a game very quickly with him. See how he wants to go over there for some reason? This is how I'm solving it. Tapping and releasing. And he stops. But if he's got something, because he loves to play games and grab stuff, that's why I practice the come command so much. You stay calm, go get a reward if you have a moment to do that, unless he's in danger. If he's in danger, just pretend like you have one, call him to come to you, and he'll come to you. But if you chase him, come, he grabs the leash like that. Good, which I was hoping he would do. Sit. Get him into work mode. Call him to come to you, have him sit. He can't do inappropriate behaviors. He can't be inappropriate if he's in work mode and at attention and staying in a stay. You see how that works? Instead of the correcting, good, he goes into work mode, he gets a treat, go. You might have to do it 10 times in a row. But if you do it this way, instead of correcting, grabbing the leash from him, or you can drop the leash, which means there's no way to play tug of war with him, and say, come. If you drop the leash, he's most likely going to drop the leash himself because there's no game if there's no tension on the other end, and have him sit. Or if you just had him sit, then the second time, down. Put him into a little down, which is a harder place to go than sit. He's just learning this down stay. Nope. But he's starting to get that downstay where if he gets up, instead of me having to help him, you say I just said no and he went back, and I'm going to reward him for that. Good. So you would alternate sit, stay, downstay, sit, stay, downstay. Nope. He's after little crumbs on the ground. See with the puppy, we're just still teaching him. He's a very energetic, hyper little puppy, and he's going to be a huge dog, so make sure that you do it exactly the way we're doing it here. Stay calm, always end on a success. Even if he pops up a couple times like you just saw me have him do, just stick with it like I've done here. Make sure that he leaves the right way. You come back next to him. Okay, sit, go, he's free. And that's how to get rid of unwanted behaviors. Not corrections, not chasing him around, not endlessly saying no and making noises and snapping your fingers. That will just be fuel for the fire with this puppy, and he'll get worse and worse and worse. Plug in the training, keep practicing this, and the training gets even better than it is today. Much better, hopefully, because it's only been here for 3 weeks. So the more you practice it, the more ingrained it will become. We've already practiced with you a couple of times. We're going to practice a little bit more with you so you know exactly what to do. You're going to have this video, so just always refer to the video so that you can always see how to practice it, and he should keep getting better and better.